What do you advise a young blogger who is experiencing low earnings to do right now?
Okay. Okay. There are a number of things. There are a number of things you can do to help improve your earnings in your AdSense account, and I'm going to address some of those things so that uh, every one of us, including those who are watching us, will be able to get the answers and work on these things to improve their earnings. Now, when it comes to earning from your blog or experiencing low earnings from your blog, the first thing you need to do is to identify the cause. There are three possible causes or more. There are actually more causes. There should be more than three. There are several things that can cause your website to not pay you some good money. There are a couple of things that can contribute to low earnings on your website, whether on your AdSense account or whichever monetization platform you are using. So the first thing that affects bloggers when it comes to earnings, the first thing that causes low earnings is the niche. Now, I don't know why, but nearly everybody who is stepping into the blogging industry as a young blogger today seem to want to focus on the entertainment niche. If it's not entertainment niche, it is celebrity gist. It is celebrity gist, who did bum bum, who did nyash, who did liposuction, and all kinds of, you know, all kinds of gist. Now, these are niches that people like to, you know, come on and hear some of these things, get to know some of these things. They want to read about their favorite celebrity, Bobrisky, what he did, Linda Ikeji, what she did, versus CEO, and all of that. There is nothing wrong with these people. They are great personalities. And there is actually nothing wrong with writing about them. These things are okay. There is nothing wrong about writing about them. However, if you concentrate mainly on that niche, if you focus primarily on celebrity gists and entertainment, you may not really get so much money at the end of the day because that particular niche is a niche that advertisers are not willing to pay so much money to have their product and services seen by people reading those type of news. Now, again, there is nothing wrong with those type of news. There is nothing wrong with those personalities you are writing about. The issue is that advertisers like myself, advertisers like you, if you own a company and have a product, maybe a product that is talking about insurance or anything, you wouldn't like to just advertise that product and pay big money for it to have it shown to a group of people who is primarily interested in gists. So because those people, majority of them, will end up not patronizing your service. So advertisers are not really willing to put in so much money into talking about things that has to do with those celebrities. Again, there is nothing wrong with the celebrities themselves, and there is nothing wrong with writing about them. But the issue is that advertisers are not willing to pay so much money for it. And because advertisers are not willing to pay so much money for it, Google will not be paying you so much money because what Google is giving you at the end of the day is what advertisers give to them. So if advertisers pay them a certain amount of money, Google splits this money into two. They take 32% and returns 68% to you. So you need to actually identify new niches that are very profitable and move away from those ones that are less profitable. For instance, move away from the entertainment niche is already saturated and advertisers are not willing to pay so much money from it. Move away from music download website. Now, if you are building a brand, that's a different thing. If you are building a brand, maybe a promotional brand or any kind of brand that you want people to still identify with in the future, it's okay. A brand like Niger Loaded and the rest, it's okay for you to build such brands around the music niche and you will get the traffic. And maybe in the future, musicians will pay you, young artists will pay you to promote their songs and everything. It's okay that way. But if you're not building a brand, you are building a blog that you want to use specifically for monetization for people to, come to that blog and possibly you hope to push traffic there like arbitrage, traffic arbitrage, and earn money through it. It will be a bad idea to actually start it with entertainment unless you plan to create a subdomain on that website. And on that subdomain, you will focus on profitable niches while on your main domain, you will now be doing entertainment and the rest. That's actually a good strategy if that is what you want to do. But still, your CPC at the end of the day will still be relatively low. And so you may get somehow affected. Now, apart from entertainment niche, I also mentioned the music download niche. I also mentioned movie download. I don't know why on earth would a blogger be considering stepping into the movie download. What do you want to do with it? Are those movies yours? I mean, you are going to face the issues of piracy, something you could have actually learned from Net Nigeria and the likes of them that started something like that. All right. So these are niches you shouldn't really focus on if you are intending to make money from your blog. So if your blog is already on these niches, all you need to do is adjust. Right? Going forward, create content that talk about other niches, lucrative niches. Okay? Create content that talk about them, or if you don't want to create content that talk about them, you can create a subdomain and channel everything to that subdomain. Create a category, focus every of your traffic arbitrage to that particular subdomain or category. Now that way, you actually get to still make good money even with that blog. Now, on the other hand, I would prefer that you move fully into lucrative niches, niches that are likely going to pay you money in a very short time. Niches like the loan niche, finance, niches like the travel niche, niches like the job niche, niches like education niche, niches like health and fitness, niches like automobiles. These are niches that advertisers are willing to cover serious amounts of money. In fact, there are certain keywords that I can mention right here on camera that will give you crazy money. For instance, if you write on keywords that revolve around the law, lawyers, like lawyers in USA, lawyers in a particular state in USA, lawyers in, for instance, California, lawyers in, or how to get legal advice from lawyers in these top countries. Trust me, advertisers will be willing to pay you so much money just for that, because there are lawyers that advertise themselves consistently, advertise their services every day through Google Ads. And these lawyers are willing to pay as high as 100, 200, 300 just to have people patronize them through Google Ads. So because of this, if you bring in people to them through your website, or if people come to read about your site, which is on law or legal advice, and then they patronize their services through your site by seeing their advert displayed on your site, trust me, Google can pay you up to $100 per click on this type of niches. Now, if you write on things that relate to jobs, especially high-end jobs like the ones found on LinkedIn, if you write on things like LinkedIn jobs, and the rest of them, Google can pay you so much money just for a click. Why? Because advertisers are willing to pay up to $800 per click on this type of keywords. Now, there are also keywords that are on insurance, automobiles, keywords on mortgage, keywords on loan, keywords on travel, keywords on, expensive living, luxury, and the rest of them that advertisers are willing to pay so much money. So the first thing you should actually do is to check your niche. What niche are you in? If your niche is not a niche that puts money on your table, even if it's your passion, find a way to change it, or at least find a way to adjust. Think of ideas like the one I just mentioned, using subdomain or using categories to change, bring in change on the site, and you will see your earnings will improve. That's number one. Number two, apart from the issue of niche, number two is the issue of your traffic source. Your traffic source. Now, where is your traffic coming from? Of course, Google respects all kinds of traffic. However, when it comes to payments, you will notice that traffic coming from certain angles will always give higher earnings than the ones coming through certain methods. For instance, if your traffic is coming primarily through Facebook link clicks, you may make money from it, but not so much money. Why? Because the amount of money Google is willing to part with to pay you in the long run will not be so much. So you need to check other traffic sources that you can use, or traffic, yes, sources and strategies too that you can use to improve your earnings. There are certain strategies and sources that Google is willing to pay you as high as $1, $2, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, even 100. Because in our private mentorship group, we've gotten two persons whom Google paid $136 per click. It wasn't um, like a coincidence. Those people intentionally made it happen. How did they make it happen? By moving to, number one, a good niche, like the insurance niche. Both of them actually achieved it through the insurance niche. Then, secondly, is the strategy that was used to achieve it. It wasn't achieved with Facebook link clicks. I may not be able to say what the strategies that were used right here on camera, But yes, there are strategies you can use and sources too that you can use to get it. All right. There is even a very small one that anybody can actually just pay money, implement it on social media there, and get it. So the traffic coming from these sources will really give you a high CPC. Okay. Now, apart from the issue of your sources, the next thing is your traffic uh, uh, as in countries. Where are you getting your traffic from? Now, if you understand digital marketing very well, you understand that as an advertiser or as an advertiser, there are locations that you are charged high amount of money to target. Let's say you want to run an advert now, targeting USA as a Nigerian on Google Ads. Google will likely charge you between $1 to maybe 100, 200, 300, depending on the content of your advert and how you want, whether you're generating leads or so. All right. What's your goal for running that advert? Now, they will charge you money based on that. But there is no way they will charge you less than $1 if you're targeting foreign countries. Now, why? Because these countries are tier one countries and countries are divided into three tiers: one, two, three. So if you are targeting the first and the second, you are like, as an advertiser, you are likely going to spend so much money compared to somebody who is targeting the third. All right. Now, in that same way, if you as a publisher or a blogger, you are getting your traffic and your traffic is coming from the first two tiers, all right, you're likely going to get paid high amount of money compared to somebody whose major traffic is coming from countries in the third category. So as a blogger, you also need to rechannel your content, rechannel your article to target people in the first two categories, the first two tiers, all right, of countries in digital marketing. So if your traffic is coming from tier one countries like USA, Canada, Australia, and the rest of them, there is no way your CPC will not be better. There is no way your earnings will not be better than somebody whose major traffic is coming from third world nations. So, as a blogger, you need to build your site in such a way that you target these foreign countries. Now, you may ask me, okay, since I'm in Nigeria, how do I do that? It may be difficult for me to do that. Yes, it may be difficult for you to really get that level of traffic coming from organic traffic from those countries. It may be difficult, but it's not impossible. The first thing to do is to start writing your content in such a way that you target those countries. So do your keyword research. And how do you do your keyword research? You use tools like Ahrefs keyword research tool. You use tools like small SEO tools. You use tools like SEMrush. Please, these people didn't pay me to do this advert for them. I'm just telling you some of these tools that we use that are very beneficial to us. All right. You use tools like SEMscoop and the rest of them. These tools can help you to achieve your keyword research, find out what people in those countries are searching for. And you don't necessarily have to concentrate on the big niches. You can niche down. You can niche down, bring it down to some small things, all right? Things, small niches, niches that people are not even looking at that direction, all right? So find out things that people in those countries are looking for. I'm going to tell you one of them. There is a niche called pension. People in abroad, if you search for the keyword pension on free keyword research, they like to know things about pension, tax calculation, and the rest of them. Then there is also a niche that do very well when you're targeting them, when you're targeting foreign countries in those niches. The niche called aged living, that is senior living, old people living. All right, people may not consider those kind of niches in our country over here, but if you need traffic coming from these top countries, you should consider niches like that. Why? Because in America and some other places like that, senior living is big business. People open care homes or governments open care homes for seniors to be brought in there. So consistently, people are looking for where to take their seniors, as their adults. Right now in Nigeria, if you have an uncle that is up to 80 years, they'll tell him to go to the village. Then they'll find somebody, maybe your cousin or your brother or your sister, who will be in the village taking care of him. Now, if you have a father too, they do the same thing. If you have a mother, once he's old, you guys take him or her to the village, and over there, family members care for this your mom. But in foreign countries, the moment a person reaches a particular age, they don't take them to maybe a village or somewhere. Of course, not all countries, but most of the Western countries, they don't take them to such places. They take them to care homes, senior living homes. They take them to care homes, and in these care homes, people, are expected to live in a certain way. There's a standard of life that they put them to, so that they don't have to feel it that they are old. You get my point? So in that same way, you can talk about senior cares. You can talk about these things. You can talk about caregivers jobs and the rest of them. You can even narrow down your site to talk about a particular blog. Now in 2021, is it 2021, 2022? Yeah, either 2021 or 2022, I built a blog that is talking about a particular kind of job for a particular country. And I paid my writers just to only write on that type of job. I can give you an example. For instance, you can narrow it down to something like caregiver's job in the USA. Your blog, everything about your blog will be focused on caregiver's job. You don't talk about driver's job. You don't talk about nursing jobs. You don't talk about pharmacist job. You just focus primarily on caregiver's job in so place. Before you know it, Google will start putting up your articles. When people are searching for such jobs, Google will be taking your content and placing them on their search results pages. Placing them on their search results page. That's how traffic will be coming in back to back, back to back. Especially when you use certain tools like the job posting tools to do that. When you're not just posting it as normal posts, when you're posting them as job postings. This is the secret behind websites like Job Magazine. Is it my job magazine or something in Nigeria right now? Every single day, those guys get several thousands of traffic. Not because their articles are better than every other person. It is because they are posting these things in accordance with job content requirements by Google. All right. So these are things that people don't even consider looking at. And then at the end of the day, they will say they started blogging and they are not making anything. What do you mean you started blogging, and you are not making anything? It is simply because you are not doing what other people out there who are earning these things are doing. Or maybe you just don't want to seek for mentorship or knowledge from other people who are doing far better than you. Now, apart from the issue of your niche, I talk about your traffic source, and then I made mention of your traffic country. All right. Then the last one I'm going to talk about, which isn't the only one, but of course it's one of those ones, is your ads placement strategy. How are you placing your adverts on your site? Now, some people think you can just place adverts, one advert, just one advert. Like sometimes you ask some people, what's going on with your site? They say, nothing is happening. And then when people say nothing is happening with your site, you ask, okay, let me take a look at the site. And you are taking a look at the site, you just discover that it's even difficult for you as their mentor, or maybe their friend or their brother who want to review the site for them to find an advert on the site. You can't take your advert and put it at your footer. You can't take your advert and put it at the footer section of your website and expect eyes to see them. I mean, it's practically impossible. How many people have that patience to scroll down to the footer section of your website? There are two or three places that people get to see advert, that people must see every time they come to your website. The first place is at your header. So if your advert is not at your header section, you are missing a whole lot, because the header section is the first thing that people see on your website. It's the very first thing that people will see on your website. So the header, you have the before header, which is before your site title. People need to see your advert at that place. Then you have also below your site title, which is called the after header. People need to see your advert around there before the content. You can even just implement these two alone and you see an increase in your earnings. Immediately, you see an increase in your earnings because there will be an increase in your clicks. Your click-through rate will improve and your earnings will improve too. Now, apart from that, people also need to see your advert inside posts. So don't just put only one advert inside your post and relax and say, okay, I've done everything I need to do. No. Make sure you spread it. All right? After 4, 5, 6 paragraphs, there should be an advert. After 4, 5, 6 paragraphs, there should be an advert. After 4, 5, 6. So in one post, you are having like 3 or 4 adverts right inside there. Now, I don't say you should overdo it. Like some persons will put one advert after every one paragraph, one paragraph, one advert, one paragraph, one advert. No, it shouldn't be that way. If you do it that way, the amount of invalid clicks you'll be getting will be so much that your earnings will also be low. So you need to strategically position it after 4, 5, 6, 7 paragraphs. You place one advert, okay? That way, people will not accidentally click. No, they will intentionally click on the advert that appeals to them the most. So if you do these simple things I just suggested now, trust me, your earnings will improve as a blogger. And you will have good news. You will be proud, in fact, to tell people going forward, I am a blogger.